Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing a psychic reading on Juice Wrld. This is a 21-year-old rapper, singer, songwriter that was that basically passed away. He's been known throughout the musical community. A lot of people are mourning his passing because of the fact that he was so young, and it's a shame that someone with so much talent and so young passed away. But the question is, what was the cause of his passing? That's what everybody wants to know. Now, again, as I tell you, when I do these readings, you're going to see several things through social media. People are going to judge by what they saw in interviews or heard him say, and what is pushed off on media. Now, apparently, this is the backstory for those people that don't know. He was traveling to Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken, but he was at Chicago's airport, and upon landing, they were tipped off that he possibly had drugs and firearms on the aircraft. So they were immediately targeting Juice Wrld. Okay, now my whole thing is, when I'm going back to the, and looking at, this is just my opinions right now. I'm not getting into the psychic portion yet. But my thing is, why was he, targeted by the federal government or by the people in the airport? Because he was black and he is a rapper? Or is it because people knew openly that this was a black rapper that had publicly spoken about having drug addiction? So, it's kind of hard not to play, not to talk about race and how the racism still exists. Now, had this been a white rapper, I'm just putting it out there like that, would have he been targeted just like Juice Wrld was? I know a lot of people are going to probably say, oh, that's ridiculous. It wasn't because of his color of skin. But yet again, we see another case where a black man is being taken down, by the police because of his skin color, and because they knew that, he is a person known to do drugs, etc. So the whole thing itself is very fishy. I smell foul play in some kind of way behind all of this story. Like, it doesn't add up. And supposedly, someone on the flight, his management team said that they saw him taking pills during the flight. And there's just been a whole bunch of theories, really, of what caused his passing. Some people say that he took this drug called Percocet or Paroxet, something, I don't know. I'm not going to even try to pronunciate it, but it's some kind of drug that starts with a P. It's like an opioid. That's my understanding. And he had marijuana on him, and that, there was some marijuana on the plane, and some weapons. And so a lot of people are like speculating that maybe he passed from an overdose of taking too much of that medicine, or those pills, that drug. Okay, so my whole thing is, then why didn't the management team stop him, if that was the case? Again, these are allegedly, this is what the information is. But again, there's a lot of versions to this, and the whole truth behind this, I do see, and I'm going to start getting into the insight of what I see here. I see Juice being I'm just going to call him Juice, someone that is very young. I don't know if he was, kind of like drawn into this world, into the music world, from his talent. And then people just kind of drew upon the fact that he was very young and naive, and, that he was, physically young, so he could, still rap and stuff and do drugs, and it wouldn't be a problem. Like, to me, if I was with a record label and my management team was not looking after my best interests, then they would have to be questioned. The people surrounding him would have to be questioned. Now, apparently he does have a girlfriend, and allegedly, she was there too. This is all allegedly. And, the fact that this relationship they had, we're going to delve into that as well, in what I see about his inner world. Immediately what I'm getting from him is that he was kind of spoiled once he got into the music industry. And I hate to use this word spoiled because it kind of reminds me of like referring to a child, and he's obviously a man. But there is this sense of entitlement, a sense of kind of like people, like I said before, a lot of yes people all around. We saw this with like Lil Peep and some other, other people in the industry that have passed at this young age. Was he committing suicide? I think a lot of people want to know. No, I don't feel like this is suicide at all. But I do see and I do feel like there is some foul play with this, like because of the fact that he was targeted in so many ways, because he's a celebrity, because he is someone that has money, and because he is known to have a drug problem. And so I'm not buying this whole situation that he was, that they were tipped off, that, he possibly had something on his plane, etc. If that was the case, I mean, he would have thought, the mentality, I guess, here is like, you can't sneak that kind of stuff onto the plane. So if it was put onto this jet or whatever it was, the plane, this thing, how is it that the pilot didn't know? Was the pilot paid? Were people at this airport facility paid off so he could take those drugs onto the plane? And then they were, I'm just presenting it in that way. And then they were the ones that kind of tipped off, the agents, etc., that there was, the police, that basically there was drugs and things on the plane. Again, there's a lot of murkiness around this whole story. I don't see balance in his life, throughout, his career. Like in his personal life, I don't feel like it was a balanced life. I feel like he was trying to find balance, but it was like focusing on the music, on the women. I don't feel like he was faithful to his girlfriend. So again, I know that she may not, I don't feel like she cared. I really don't. But that's what's coming across very much so. I keep feeling like he never had a firm foundation, or people that would say, you can't do this or can't do that. Like I said, this goes back to having a lot of yes people around you and kind of being with the wrong group of crowd, even though, you are promised to be having success and money and women and stuff like that. There's just a lot of darkness that surrounded him. And I don't feel like he made the best decisions. Like, I feel like he was trying to make some decisions on himself, but for the most part, a lot of the touring, the scheduling, all of these, trips, etc., they were done by other people that were in control of him. Like, he would have had handlers, basically. This would be people that are responsible for him in some kind of way. He was, I'm getting from Spirit that he was very much into addicted, basically. So there is validity to the drug part, and also other things. Like, I feel like there would have been cocaine, there would have been some other heavy or hard drugs other than this pills that they allegedly say, that he would have been gravitating towards. And I'm feeling also like there was some rivalry, some type of rivalry going on between him and another rapper. I don't know if he says things, and kind of was very cocky in some ways, but I feel like there was this kind of underlying beef. I guess that's the terminology I'm looking for. Beef, some underlying beef between him and another rapper. And I feel like a lot of these details and things are going to come out later on, within the next couple of weeks, months. And again, you're going to see a lot of stuff, leaked out into the media, and just a lot of different versions of what really went on in that plane, in that flight, and upon being, going into a seizure. Because apparently he died from a seizure. But when they did the autopsy, or they, wherever they took the body, it was allegedly is inconclusive. So they're doing more autopsies, like looking at toxicology, looking at the heart. So I'm like, where is all this information coming from that, he had supposedly, allegedly, he took a lot of that pee drug, that Persicot or whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it, but and he may have taken some other pills. Like, where is all of this information coming from, and who is feeding this narrative to make him look like it was a natural overdose? Because I'm not buying that. I'm not getting that here. Even though he was someone that was kind of a risk taker and kind of careless when it came to living a fast life, I don't feel like he was dumb. Like, Juice was not a dumb guy. He was pretty bright when it comes to knowing his limitations. So again, there is some type of cover-up that is going on. Now, allegedly, he was administered Narcan. Okay, I don't know if it was 1 or 2 doses, but allegedly he was administered that upon them recognizing that he maybe had overdosed, or they thought that he was having seizures. Okay, I just find it kind of hard from the point that he was okay on the plane to the point where he got off of the plane into the airport lobby or into the airport, and he was seized by police. They basically stopped his crew, and then he fell into seizures. Okay, something in between that does not make sense at all, because I know that when you're in a plane, there's altitude, and it can cause some physical symptoms when you're flying, like, feeling kind of lightheaded, and a lot of people feel sleepy. So, if anything, he would have felt kind of tired. It just depends on how long the flight was and the altitude that he would have been. And now I'm getting a little technical in it, but there's a reason I'm bringing all this up. Something was not right, and somebody in his team is not saying something, and they know something. So then I keep seeing a lot of focus from other people on his money, what Juice was making, what was going to be paid out. Because look at it this way: when someone has passed, and being so young, they don't have to pay him out. Okay, and they're still going to make money on the artist. So I'm not accusing anyone. This is just my insight from spirit, my opinions. And last time I checked, we are entitled to our own opinions. But hear me out now, people. There is some type of cover up here, and I keep hearing spirit say the people on the plane know something. The girlfriend knows something, but I feel like she's afraid and she's not going to speak up. Somebody knows something, because Narcan has been known to cause you to have side effects, and sometimes some severe side effects. But as far as the statistics are, like, there's not a very bad reaction to Narcan. So I don't suspect the police. Okay, I don't suspect the police at all, or the person that administered the Narcan. Although I know a lot of people out there have their own opinion, their own conspiracy, that they're thinking that the police were involved. Now, I do feel like there is something shady there, with, like I said, with the them being tipped off with the airport crew, or the person driving, the pilot, I guess, driving the jet, and allowing them to carry these things onto the plane. But what is not what I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't feel like this is coming from the police. Okay, and I'm not defending anyone, but I'm just saying it. I don't feel like that his death had anything to do with the Narcan. I don't feel like it had anything to do with that. Juice was someone that, again, a lot of people had eyes on him. He was making moves, and I don't know if people were fearful that he was going to eventually become so big that they would have to pay him a larger chunk of money, etc. But I keep seeing that there would have been some issues with his record label. I don't feel like everything was peachy. Not everything was peachy. And I see a female trying to convince him. This could be his girlfriend, trying to get him to see the light, trying to make some changes. But I also feel like, I don't know if she was in the process of wanting a baby, or like there was going to be an unexpected, an unexpected pregnancy, because I feel like there was some something culminating that would have been involving a pregnancy. So I don't know if his girlfriend is even capable of having children, but what was coming through is that there was going to be a pregnancy like around this whole thing. um there was going to be a female. That is what Spirit is saying. Oh, there was going to be a female that was going to be pregnant or become pregnant in some kind of way. Again, I feel like he was making money moves. He was becoming more well known in the industry, and he was getting recognition. But I feel like somebody did not want him to go further. There was definitely some foul play around his passing. And again, how he would have passed, I feel like would have been something given to him prior to the airplane that would have worked within a certain period of time. I know when you listen to a lot of my readings out there when it comes to this, like the one I did on Eazy-E, and the ones that I've done on Kim Porter and a lot of these other artists that have, inconclusive, allegedly that they, had mysterious flu-like symptoms. Again, I use that word, flu-like symptoms, etc., for a reason. But I'm not buying that he passed from just, an overdose. It was definitely something else that would have interacted with what he took on the plane. And there's a cover up. Like I said, you're living in a world where there are drugs that are intraceable. Like autopsies won't even reveal what is in the blood, because once it hits the bloodstream, it's not traceable. And there are drugs like that. There's a lot of drugs that are foreign that do have that side effect, and they really should be banned from the world if they're like a poison or some kind of untraceable poison, etc. I also keep feeling like he was gonna transform in some kind of way. There was a transformation on the verge. He was on the verge of, like, again, making a lot of people uncomfortable because of his talent. And so what I feel like all of this boils down to is that he was taken out. Okay. But again, the narrative that's going to be spun into the media by the people in power, is going to be that he had basically like either a heart attack, which is what I feel like really happened. I feel like the heart was overworked. It was overworking, and I feel like, what I feel like, and it may go contrary to what they reveal, but I almost feel like he would have had a stroke. Okay. Neurologically speaking, it would have been a stroke. It would have been a result of the heart. So that's what I'm kind of getting. Like, it would have affected the left side of the body. That's what I keep feeling. The left side of the body. And so there's a lot of foul play with his passing. I do feel like there's going to be some unreleased music coming out. We're going to hear about that. There's going to be more kind of people, like the fans are not going to let this down anytime soon. They're not happy. Like, a lot of people are not happy that this young man that was so talented passed away. And I also feel like, there's going to be someone that does like a tribute to him in some way. I keep feeling that. And there was something connected to the color blue. I don't know if he liked the color blue, or there was like some kind of ring that he would have bought for someone. But I keep seeing like a blue stone, a silver ring. I don't know what's the connection to the color blue, but I keep hearing and seeing that very much so as well. I will have to say that Juice was, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't know if it goes by Juicy or Juice, but I'm just going to call him Juice. I keep feeling like he would have been intuitive. He would have been intuitive. So even though he had, substances and had his own addictions, his own problems, I do feel like he was a level-headed individual who would not have, taken anything to the extreme, because he does love, I keep hearing he loves his family. So his mom, his dad, whoever is his family, he would love his family, and I don't feel like he would have been so careless to let them suffer in his soul tribe, his closest friends. But there's definitely some foul play, and like I said, key people that would have been around on that plane would know something, and they're not going to say anything. But again, only God knows exactly what happened, and if there is going to be divine justice, it is going to be carried out by God, in his own time, whenever God is ready, the higher power. But this is the insights that I get from the Jews world, and his passing, etc. I feel like there was definitely something administered that would have been, when coupled with, again, his stuff that he was taking, would have had an adverse reaction. I don't feel like this was the police, even though I feel like, yes, there's something crooked there as well, but I definitely feel like this was something that was very planned out to take Juice out. And again, there was some focus on the money. That's what I keep feeling. Not wanting to pay, or knowing that if he was gone, that basically he would not receive it. So I don't know. It's weird how it's coming through, but that's what I'm getting. So again, these are just my opinions. Keep in mind, this is all for entertainment purposes only. I have to state that, but don't come for me in the comments, because you will be blocked. This is just my insight. You may not agree with it, but you're entitled to your own opinions out there. So I wish everyone that is a fan of Juice blessings, and I wish his family healing, and his friends, and I hope that he finds the peace that he was not able to find here. So thank you again for listening. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and also if you have any other celebrity or anyone else that you want me to do a psychic reading on, please comment in the comment section below. Blessings and love and light. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are in the world.